ಟಿ ವಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಆ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೆಶನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆ ಸೇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಟೀಮ್ ಫೆಲೋಶಿಪ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಎಂಥ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹಣನೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ಲಾಗಿ ಅಂತ ಅಡ್ವೆಂಚರಸ್ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್. ಆ ಭಯ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ದೇ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಡೇರಿಂಗ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್.
Okay, how about the other countries? They also have certain goals. Okay, let me give you a clear understanding. Sustainable development goals are not only for our country. Sustainable development goals are from the United Nations. It applies for the entire globe. Earlier to sustainable development goals, what we had was MDGs. They were known as Millennium Development Goals. What the UN had thought, when we reach the millennium, we will achieve the goals. However, they realized we humans are very slow to achieve the goals. Then they said they were a failure. They could not achieve MDGs. Then they said what we will do is we'll try to sustain what we are having now. And what is the reason for that? I will show you one more video, then you can reflect on it. Everybody up? I request everybody to be seated, please. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Bharat Scouts and Guides, I take the privilege to welcome our Shri K.R. Ramesh Kumar, ex-Speaker of Karnataka Vidhan Sabha. Welcome, sir. I welcome Shri U.T. Kadir. Sir has been with us right from the first day of the Jamboree and inspiring everybody. He has been a Rashtrapati Scout by himself. Welcome, sir. And we have our State Chief Commissioner among with us, and we have our Swamiji also with us. I welcome all the guests for the day. Before we proceed with today's program, what we are having today is something called as Youth Parliament. The background to have this Youth Parliament is, whenever we have interacted with a lot of our leaders, especially political leaders, we have found few of the excellent political leaders, they were scout during their school days. And later part of the time when we are interviewing them or talking to them, we often found that they said the training for running the administration or running the country or any such government, there is no such institution, university or college for the training. However, being a scout helped them to get that knowledge, skills and other kind of talents to ensure they are successful politicians. It's not only in our country, but when we look at successful politicians across the globe, they are very proud to say that they are scouts. One of the recent example is the Prime Minister of Malaysia. He is a gentleman who is above 80 years old, but still he enjoys wearing the scout uniform and going to scout camps. And when we see U.T. Kadir sir, we really get inspired by that, sir. Thank you very much. Today we are going to enact the Parliament, and all our young Scouts and Guides are adoring the roles of Prime Minister, Finance Minister, Home Minister, and also we have the opposition party. They are going to discuss something about fake news, and they will try to pass a bill to counter fake news, and they have been trained by Center for Law and Policy Research for the last 2 days so that they can put up a good show. And the team of Krutika, Balu Nair and Devi, right? Devi are the background for this event that is going to happen. I will not take much of your time. We will see the Scouts and Guides in action. And we request our Honorable ex-Speaker Sri Ramesh Kumar sir to kindly be there throughout this youth parliament and guide our young scouts and guides. My dear scouts and guides, Mr. Ramesh Kumar is one of the tallest leaders in our state. He is not only the tallest, he is the most intelligent leader. He has the wit to counter any kind of the situations that comes across in the political field. And we are very lucky to have him, and his words will definitely inspire you and guide you towards the right direction to ensure you become active citizens and wonderful politicians in future. With this, I hand over to Kritika to start the proceedings, and during the course of the proceedings, all our guests will have an opportunity to address the Youth Parliament. Thank you. I request Sri Prabhakar Bhatt sir to kindly put up a scarf and ogle to the ex-honorable speaker. We also welcome Madam Prabha Londe for this youth parliament. I also welcome all our district chief commissioners from various districts, office bearers, LA secretaries who are present in the audience. Hearty welcome to you, sir. I will not be able to take your names because the list will go long, and we are over to the young people for the youth parliament.
Honorable members, honorable speakers,
the first item on the day's duty is the oath-taking ceremony by the members. The Secretary General will call out each member's name in the order.
Jeevashri, the Prime Minister of India.
I, Jeevashri, having been elected a member of Youth Parliament House of the People, do swear in the name of God that I'll bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Chandana R.
In the name of God, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty of integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Darshan.
I, Darshan, having been elected a member of Youth Parliament House of the People, do swear in the name of the God that I will bear a truth, fair and against the Constitution of India as by the law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Aditya.
ನಾನು ಆದಿತ್ಯ ಯುವ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಆಯ್ಕೆಯಾದ ನಂತರ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೇವರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಧರಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಭಾರತದ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬದ್ಧನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾರತದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಗ್ರತೆಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭತಿವಾ ಫಾಂಟೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರವೇಶಿಸಲು ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ಕಠಿಣತೆ.
Sai Sumuk.
I, Sai Sumuk, have been elected a member of Youth Parliament, House of People, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith of allegiance of Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Dushyant.
I, Dushyant, have been elected a member of Youth Parliament House of the People. Do swear in the name of the God, and that I will bear the true faith and allegiance of the Constitution of India, as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge all the duty upon which I am about to enter.
I, Tanvita, have been elected as a member of House of People, do swear in the name of the God that I will bear the true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
I, Bhakti, having been elected a member of Youth Parliament House of the People, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
ನಾನು ಸಾಬಮ್ಮ ಯುವ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಆಯ್ಕೆಯಾದ ನಂತರ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೇವರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಧರಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಭಾರತ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬದ್ಧನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾರತದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಗ್ರತೆಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬತಿವಾ ಫೈಂಟೆಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರವೇಶಿಸಲು ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ಕಠಿಣತೆ
House of the people do swear in the name of God that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
ನಾನು ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯ ಯುವ ಸದಸ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಆಯ್ಕೆಯಾದ ನಂತರ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೇವರ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಧರಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಭಾರತದ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾರತದ ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮತ್ವ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮಗ್ರತೆಯನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬತಿವೈ ಫೈಂಟೆ ದಿಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರವೇಶಿಸಲು ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ಕಠಿಣತೆ.
I, Ankita, having been elected a member of Youth Parliament House of the People, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Prime Minister, the Leader of the House, the Leader of the Opposition, and all the beloved members of the House. English or Kannada? Because I don't know. It's a privilege indeed to address this august House on the occasion of the 28th Karnataka State Jamboree Youth Parliament. Parliament came to us from Great Britain. The rulers of Great Britain, the kings, the monarchs, became irresponsible. They were after luxurious life. They were forgetting their duties and responsibilities towards their subjects, the people of Great Britain. And the people of the state have come to streets to express their anger, the resentment against the monarch. It led to anarchy. The anarchic condition couldn't last long. Naturally, a few people, intermediaries, they wanted to resolve this crisis. they started holding talks with the king and the people. Then they come to a conclusion that the people should not be on streets protesting against the monarch. Monarch should not be taxing people as he wants. So there was a restriction on the deeds and acts of the monarch. A slogan emerged there. The monarch was compelled to seek the opinion of the representatives of people before he proposed any new taxes. He could not arbitrarily put taxes on people. The slogan was, "No taxation without representation." So for the first time, the king, the monarch, was brought to a condition where he had to consult people before making any proposal for taxing. This is the first seed of democracy sown in the world. Gradually, over a period of 5 centuries, there came to be an institution called Parliament. In the process, there was a stage when the king was beheaded in the Parliament House. How do you know this slogan? The king is dead, long live the king. So democracy did not come into world overnight. It has a long history, and not fair on my part to drag you into that. India was a colony of Britishers. It was Her Majesty's rule here. So the independence movement, the struggle for independence by the national leaders, led to liberation of this country. There were 554 princely states in this country when British left us. There was a big task of unifying, consolidating all these 554 princely states into one union. Some readily agreed, some resisted, and against a few people, military operations had to be done. As a consequence of all these things, we became Bharat, India. And how do you run this country? You need a constitution. India is a pluralistic country. So many castes, religions, customs, practices, languages, and all of you have to live together. How do you do that? It was a very exhaustive job. There came to be a constituent assembly. The constituent assembly was comprising of people who are literate, graduates, who are all big landlords, some business people, and a few were nominated by kings. There were all kinds of people. Dr. Babu Rajendra Prasad became the first president of the Constituent Assembly of India. The Constituent Assembly is a vast house. All of them cannot sit together and draft the Constitution of India. Then they all decided amongst themselves to constitute a committee called Drafting Committee to draft the proposed constitution for India. That drafting committee had 14 members. And amongst the 14, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was chosen to be the chairman of the drafting committee. Why was he chosen? Dr. Ambedkar had a doctorate in social science as far as back in 1917 from Columbia University. Exactly 102 years ago, he had a doctorate. He doesn't stop at that. He goes to London School of Economics and takes a doctorate there also in economics. Then he had a doctorate in political science. He was the highest qualified man. Therefore, unanimously, the Constituent Assembly gave him the honor of being the chairperson of that drafting committee. The first meeting of the Constituent Assembly took place on 9th of December 1946. The last meeting was on 26th of November 1949. It worked incessantly for 3 long years. Then it was submitted to the President. On 7th of January 1950, the last Governor General of India, who was an Indian himself, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari, he brought about an order on behalf of Government of India under Article 393 of the Constitution, which says removal of difficulties, accepting the Constitution. And the Constitution came into force on 26th of January 1950. That is the day which is called as the Republic Day. The preamble of the Constitution says, we are a democratic, sovereign democratic republic. Thereafter, the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution in 1976, 2 more words were added. We are a sovereign, democratic, socialist, secular republic. So, the Constitution of India, which is 72 years now, is one of the best constitutions of India, in the world. As per the Constitution of India, apart from liberty, equality and fraternity, the words socialist and secular are very conspicuous. The people of all religions in this country are treated as equals. There is no scope for touching upon those issues. Parliament is a creation of the Constitution. Parliament, you have brought about a bill now, anti-fake news bill. I just want to watch how you are going to deliberate. Parliament enacts law. When the Parliament introduces a bill, discusses, debates and ultimately passes and it becomes a law, the law should be in conformity with the provisions of the Constitution. The Parliament cannot pass any law which defies the provisions of the Constitution. Therefore, the ultimate law is Constitution. That is final, that is supreme. But Parliament has the provision to make the law. Parliament is a consensus of the people of this country. You have 130 crores of population, starting from one end to another. There are varieties of people. The Parliament should have the time, the patience to hear the issues raised by different sections. Speaker particularly should use the discretion to permit the members to ventilate their grievances, because that is the only forum available. The Speaker also ensures that the government is enabled to transact the government business, because the country should run. You will allow the opposition to have their say, you will permit the government to have its way. The sanction of the people that is given to the government is out of trust, goodwill. In our electoral system, there is no provision for recalling of the chosen representatives. Once you are chosen and declared elected, you will last long in office for 5 years unless otherwise something happens. So the duty bound upon you is to always be loyal to the oath that you have taken just now. I swear allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established. I will uphold the integrity of India. I will start discharging my duties which I am entering upon. So the duties that you are entering upon is in the public interest. Therefore, the oath that you have taken, you should remember every day. You should not forget. You should adhere to the oath. The problem of the country is we are not adhering to oath. Oath taking has become a ceremony. It has not become a matter of conviction. Either with the Parliament or with the assemblies, either with the government or with the opposition. Taking undue advantage of there not being a provision in the Constitution for recalling the elected representatives, we should not behave in a manner which hurts our electorate. Freedom is achieved with a lot of struggle. Many have laid down their lives, and you should be a judge by yourself. Every member, every minister, every opposition leader. You shall not suffer from prejudices. You shall not have a partial approach towards anybody. You should not nurse malice or revenge or ill will towards anybody. That's the way Parliament is expected to behave. The Parliament should devote its time for legislation primarily and take up other issues also. But what has happened in the country now is, when a bill is introduced, we don't discuss on the bill. Nobody comes prepared on the bill. The bills are passed just like that. And many members come out and say that they did not know what they raised their hands for. That is a very wrong thing. That should not happen. If you do not know what you are eating, if you are eating poison, you will die. If you raise your hands for a law, for a bill which is not for people, and you say, I didn't know, I just raised my hand, then that is very dangerous for democracy. So, my friends, it is not fair that I tax your patience. I should speak very little. You have called me as a guest, for I have worked as former speaker, etc., etc., etc. I have come to watch the youth parliament. I am not immortal. I got to leave this world, if not today, tomorrow, day after, a year later, 10 years later. You are going to step into our shoes. It's always the desire of the parents that their children, their grandchildren, behave well, shape well, become more responsible, and this country runs much better than what it is running today. Therefore, the youth parliament is very, very valid. Please do not emulate us. There is nothing for you to learn from the present parliament. So you should really behave in such a manner, conduct your proceedings here today. The parliament should pick a leaf out of this and behave better. So I'm sorry to say this. And the bill, I don't know who gave this, were you all responsible for it? It is an excellent subject. How I wish the Parliament of India takes cognizance of this, at least now wake up from their deep slumber and bring in a bill like this in the Parliament of India. What is fake, what is genuine? If it is simply false, that is okay. If it is malicious, if it is leading to character assassination, if it is leading to disturb the integrity of the country, if it is leading to chaos, law and order problem in the country, then it becomes very dangerous. Now we see media, you get disgusted. Media should be educative. Parliament should be educative. The people of the country should salute the parliament. When will they do it? When the dreams and desires of the people is reflected in the mirror called parliament, people will respect the parliament. Now the mirror is broken. So I have all the pleasure. It's a great honor conferred on me. I just thought I'll speak to you briefly and tell you about the Constitution, Parliament, its duties, and the bill. Now, I'll resume to my seat. You will introduce the bill. Let the discussion start. Let me watch. Let me watch both sides. Then let us see whether the treasury benches, that is the ruling party, which is on the right side of the speaker, decides to pass this bill because of the brute majority they have, or will they have the censors in their conditions and control and listen to the observations of all the members in the House on both the sides. And if there is really something which is going to tell your conscience that you must change the bill, you must make some amendments, and you respond to that, that will be a very, very responsible parliament. I don't know whether the youth parliament is going to be a model to us, or it's going to be a parliament similar to the one we have. So, my best wishes to all of you. I must congratulate the Secretary General. That's how precisely the Secretary General should be. And I'm sure this lady would one day, this girl will become a lady and get into Lok Sabha as the Secretary General. I was watching. My compliments to her. The Secretary General is very disciplined, well informed. Whenever the crisis arises in the House, the Secretary General will rush to the Speaker, will whisper into the ears of the Speaker, will guide the Speaker. So the business of the House is always organized by the Secretary General. So Secretary General plays a very important role, and the Speaker, see, all of you are seated there, Speaker is here. So Speaker should always remember that he is at the center. He is neither to the left nor to the right. And he is not there, he is here. The respect shown to him by the whole House, the Speaker should be aware. The fact that he is at the center, Speaker should belong to all of you and the whole House. Speaker should have in mind the reflections, the dreams of people outside. The people outside should feel proud of your parliament looking at the deliberations that you carry on. And Speaker enhances the dignity of the House by regulating the House, by putting people, whether it is Prime Minister or the Home Minister or the Leader of Opposition, whether they are fat or thin or tall or short, no matter. When they do not adhere to the rules, the Speaker should have the courage of conviction to tell them, rule is very important, behave well. And if you do not behave well, rule takes its role. So that should be the role of the Speaker. And generally, such people are preferred to be speakers who are not to be tolerated in the cabinet. Probably that's your case also. Wish you all the best. And I did suggest to my dear friend, Mr. P.G.R. Sindhya, we have been colleagues. I was Speaker when he was the Home Minister. And it's quite some time he has been little away from active politics. Whichever portfolio he handled, he has handled very efficiently. He is one of our very respectable leaders in the state. He said, I should be coming here. There are a lot of other things to talk about, but time is very little. So oath taking was okay. They should read the oath more legibly. So you can't just put it all in one sentence. As by law established is one sentence. I do bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. I swear in the name of God. Each sentence you should split, you should speak very clearly. There should not be any ambiguity. I mean, you did better, excepting one or two. There was some small. After all, you are youth parliament. You are much better than the regular parliament. So, because I have had the suffering of surviving with all of them. So my best wishes to all of you, though there are so many things to be spoken due to the time factor, and also to see that you don't go to sleep, you don't get, frustrated. I take my seat. I thank all of you, particularly the Speaker, for having invited me here. And marshals are here. You know why the marshals are in the House? When you don't behave well, Speaker uses the bell. Then Speaker tells you, and ultimately when you become incorrigible, they physically throw you out. I only wish you don't give any employment to marshals. They should remain unemployed and the House should run well. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you, Anand. You can start.
I request everyone to please stand up. Thank you, everyone.
House on the President's House of the Parliament assembled together on 30th December 2019.
Next, motion of thanks to the President's address. Of the Karnataka, where she served as a member of the Kumkur rural constituency. Thereafter, she served 3 terms in the Lok Sabha representing Shimoga. With the passing away of Mrs. Nagamma, the country has lost a voted parliamentarian and able leader. I request the members to stand up and observe 1 minute silence as a mark of respect for the memory of depart. Secretary General will convey to the members of Mrs. Nagamma's family a sense of sorrow. I request everyone to please rise up. Thank you, everyone. Now, we will have the questioning hour. First, Mr. Basavaraju.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಶ್ರೀ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್. ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ 501 ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಆಹಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ವಿತರಣಾ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿಯ ಬೆಲೆ ಸುಮಾರು %200ರಷ್ಟು ಏರಿಕೆಯಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂಬುದು ನಿಜವೇ? ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಅದೇ ಸಮಯ. ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬಿ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಕೈಗೆಟುಕುವ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಖರೀದಿಸಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಖಚಿತಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಯಾವ ಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ?
Indeed, sir, a number of steps have been adopted to ensure that the common man is able to buy onions at an affordable price. We have started mass procurement of onions through the Food Corporation of India, and the same is being sold at the reasonable price through fair price shops. We have also taken a strict measures against those vendors who are hoarding onions.
I request members maintain silence. I request members please maintain silence. No discussion on this issue can be held without first giving notice.
Honorable Minister, please tell us if any steps have been taken under the Prevention of the Black Market and the Maintenance of the Supplies of the Essential Commodities Act 1980.
Permission has not been
These
granted,
governments
Mr.
are
Hanuman.
useless. They have no concentration for the poor.
Mr.
Their
Hanuman.
mission is to serve the rich and powerful.
Mr. Hanuman, please.
Tell me, Prime Minister.
Mr. Hanuman.
Tell me.
Marshals,
this is a
please
waste
move
government.
him out.
This is a waste government. This is a waste government.
Such behavior cannot be tolerated in the House. Now, on to the next point on the list of business. Laying of the papers on the table, Minister of Law on the table of the House of a copy report in English and Hindi version of the working group on the tributes.
Dear sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table of this House the papers listed against my name at serial number 1 in today's list of business.
Minister of Information and Broadcasting is now requested to move the motion of leave to introduce the bill.
My dear fellow parliamentarians, I beg to move the motion for leave to introduce the anti-fake news bill, which weeds out the core problems of the fake news.
The question is that whether the leave can be granted to the Minister of Information and Broadcasting to introduce the anti-fake bill news 2019 that will indeed out the core problems of the fake news. Those in favor will say aye, those against will say no. I request everyone to vote peacefully. The ayes have it. Leave is granted. The Finance Minister will now have the floor.
Honorable Mr. Speaker, my dear fellow parliamentarians, today is an important day for the future of India as a democratic nation. The government is introducing a crucial law that will tackle the menace of fake news and disinformation and proposes solutions to uphold peace and stability in our nation. I will take this opportunity to first talk about the digital revolution of the 21st century, also known as the third industrial revolution. We are currently living in times where technology is so involved that it can achieve things that we could never have imagined years ago. We have the ability to make interplanetary travel a reality. We can connect with anyone in this planet in a fraction of a second, and technology has also made it possible to develop sophisticated interventions related to health, environment, climate, etc. While I can go on about the marvels of the new technological age, like any revolution, it has come at a cost of heavy burdens. If these burdens are left unregulated, it could have the potential to destroy democracy. One of the dangers of unregulated technology is the manufacturing and spreading of fake news. As several credible news reports have mentioned, fake messages on online message applications have resulted in lynching and deathing of several persons. These fake messages had very specific details and description of individuals which it claimed were involved in child abduction and organ harvesting. These messages also claimed morphed videos. Because of these fake messages, several people were wrongly identified as criminals and were killed by the general public. The people who committed these violent acts were overcome with passion and took the law in their hands. This happened as a result of disinformation being fed to them on message application. These instances have taken the lives of innocent citizens. It is deplorable and condemnable that lives were lost to fake messages. We have to bear in mind not to brush these incidents as isolated or one-offs.
The leader of the opposition will now speak.
ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್, ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಂಡಿಸಿರೋ ಮಸೂದೆ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಹಲವಾರು. ಮತ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇದೊಂದು ವಾಕ್ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯದ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರೋ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ನೋಡಿ, ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿದಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಆಡಳಿತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗಿಂದನೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ವಾಕ್ ಚಾತುರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡುವ ಒಂದು ಏಕೀಕೃತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಧೈರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಮಾತನಾಡುವುದು ಅಂದಿನ ರೂವಾರಿಯಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಮಸೂದೆ ಕೇವಲ ವಾಕ್ಚಾತುರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಹಿಡಿತದ ಮುಂದುವರಿಕೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಮಸೂದೆ ಕೇವಲ ಈ ವಿರೋಧಿ ಧ್ವನಿಯನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಮಸೂದೆ ಮೌನಗೊಳಿಸಲು, ವಾಹನವಾಗಿ ಬಳಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸುವ ಸಿಂಗಾಪುರ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೇ ಥರ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ರಾಜಕೀಯ ವಿರೋಧಿ ಸಿಂಗಾಪುರ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿತ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಳವಳ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದರು. ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿಗಳ ಕಾಳಜಿಯನ್ನು ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಎಂದು ಬ್ರಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಲು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ತನ್ನ ನಕಲಿ ವಿರೋಧಿ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಆವೃತ್ತಿ ಬಳಸಿತು.
Yes, this is right. Let the leader speak.
Yes, this is right.
I request members, let the leader speak.
Okay. ನನ್ನ ಭಾಷಣವನ್ನು ಅಡ್ಡಿಪಡಿಸುವ ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ಮಾಡಿದ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳಿಂದ ಅವರು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಕ್ತ ವಾಕ್ಚಾತುರ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಕೊಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬುದು ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಯಿತು. ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಲು ಯೋಗ್ಯವಾದ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಎಂದು ನಾನು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಅಲ್ಲಗಳೆಯುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ವಾಸ್ತವವಾಗಿ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಹರಡುವಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಲಾಭ ಪಡೆದಿರುವವರು ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷದವರೇ ಹೊರತು ವಿರೋಧ ಪಕ್ಷದವರಲ್ಲ. ಇದೇ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಚಾರವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಚುನಾವಣೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗೆಲ್ಲುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಚುನಾವಣೆಗಳ ಮುನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಾರದು ಎನ್ನುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಉಪಯೋಗವಾಗಿರೋದು ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ. ಹೇಗಾದರೂ ಮಸೂದೆಯು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನು ಪರಿಹರಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕಾಯ್ದೆಯನ್ನು ಅಂಗೀಕರಿಸಿದರೆ ಭಿನ್ನಾಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವನ್ನು ಮೂಡಿಸಲು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯುಧವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವುದು ಸರಿಯಾದ ಕಾನೂನು. ಇದು ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸಗಳನ್ನು ಗಣನೆಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ನ್ಯಾಯಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಹರಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಗಮನಿಸಿದರೆ ಮಸೂದೆಯನ್ನು ಜಂಟಿ ಸಂಸದೀಯ ಸಮಿತಿಗೆ ಉಲ್ಲಂಘಿಸಬೇಕೆಂದು ನಾನು ಒತ್ತಾಯಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನಂತರ ಅದು ಸಮಗ್ರ ಆವೃತ್ತಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಮಸೂದೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಹಲವಾರು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ತೋರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ನ ಸಹ ಸದಸ್ಯರಿಗೆ ನಾನೀಗ ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್.
The Defense Minister will now have the floor.
Our Honorable Finance Minister has raised a very important issue. I would like to add that technology has changed the way we consume news and information. To support this statement, I would like to add to bring the attention of this House to an important study conducted by the Reuters Institutes of the University of Oxford titled India Digital News Report. This study shows that how technology has reshaped the way we consume news. It indicates that 68% of the people who participated in the study adopted a mobile-first approach, which means that for most of the news they relied on their smartphones. They use search engines, social media, and messaging applications for consuming news. This study also highlighted that a majority of the participants also engaged with the online news. They either shared it in their networks or commented on the news items. This heavy reliance on digital environment establishes a clear need for regulation.
Now, Akshara, member of the opposition, will have the floor.
Thank you, sir. I completely agree with the Honorable Opposition Leader's views on the potential dangers if this bill is allowed to be passed. This bill will further tarnish India's image in the international community as a liberal democracy. It is opportune to note at this point that in 2019, India dropped 2 places in the Global Press Freedom Index and is now placed at 140th out of total of 180 countries ranked. I request all members to pause for a moment and think, does this law suit a democratic nation like us, which has always taken pride in its commitment for free speech? This ranking reflects the continued efforts of the present government to crush dissenting voices. As the Honorable Opposition Leader pointed out, this bill will be a final nail in the coffin of free speech in India. The bill imposes harsh penalties on those who spread fake news. But how does one determine what fake news is? What if someone publishes the fake news without knowing that it is fake?
Let's lead the leader speak.
In conclusion, I want to reiterate that this is going to be a dangerous weapon in the hands of the government capable of cutting free speech into pieces. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Home Minister, may you speak.
Yes, thank you, sir, to giving me this opportunity to speak. As the fellow members of the parliament have said, the member of the parliament once said, the fake news will be very dangerous to the society. As the great member of environment, Salumarda Timmaka, died. It is a fake news which was in the social media, and our member said all the 68% of the fake news will be in all the social medias. It is a very harmful condition which we are. The census conducted by BBC, a credible news agency, says that the most of the fake news will be there. All the problems will be having a solution, and now the law minister will suggest a solution for this. Thank you.
The leader of the opposition, may you speak. Now, Mrs. Ragini Gupta, independent member, may address the House.
The Honorable Minister has highlighted the merits of the bill. I not only agree with his arguments but also want be separately highlighted how there is an immediate need to bring in legislation to control fake news. I wish to illustrate these thoughts some incidents in my own constituency. As you may know, my constituency has a substantial population of the Varundaki tribal community. Most of its who prefer to avoid modern technological or advertisements. They also have lifestyles which is in harmony with nature and follow practices that may be aligned to the outside population. Given that they live in part in which they are close to the tourist destination, they often accidentally come in contact with the tourist. We have had a number of incidents last year. Their tourists shoot pictures of the community members. Some of these pictures are widely circulated on the social media, which distorted and completely false accounts of their lifestyles. Such false accounts were completely against the right to identity of the community members. Thus, it is my humble request that a strong anti-fake news bill be drafted in the combat such as falsehoods. The bill tabled in this House today is a strong step towards its effort. Although the opposition member has pointed out these certain faults, I don't think are in many way major or incorrigible. All considered, I request this House to pass a bill which is robust and keeping into account both free speech and right to density and reputation of citizens.
The information of broadcasting may address the House.
Honorable Speaker and respected members of the Parliament, I am glad that the motion to introduce the bill was passed. First, coming to the aim of the bill, it strives to prevent and punish the manufacturing and spreading of the fake news. As the members of the House previously highlighted, fake news has emerged as a threat to life and liberty of the people and has the potential to demolish the democratic ethos of our country. Through bill, we are in fact furthering the mandate under Article 21 to protect and preserve the individual's right to life and personal liberty. In the definition section, fake news has defined in a manner to include all instances of misinformation and disinformation in any media ecosystem. The definition also includes instances where images and video files are used, thus virtually covering all instances. Next, we lawmakers have the notorious reputation of drafting a law in a language that escapes the common man's understanding. We have also accused of making bulky legislations. Keeping this in mind, I am proud to present the Anti-Fake News Bill, which defies these common notations of lawmaking. This bill is one of the rare legislations which merely has 8 clauses and captures reforms and proposals of these clauses written in a manner to ensure that even people without legal training will be able to understand its essence.
Shri Ravi Verma Kumar from the opposition will now speak.
Honorable Speaker and respected members of the Parliament, much has already been said by my fellow members about the perils of having bills in its present form. I hope to further elaborate on these points, but with specific reference to clauses of the bill. As to Clause 3, which provides for the offense of creating and disseminating fake news, the same is extremely vaguely worded. Allow me to read out portions of the clause for the benefits of the House.
Permission is granted.
Creating, publishing and disseminating fake news or publications containing fake news. First, any person or body cooperates who maliciously create, publishes or disseminates any fake news or publication containing such fake news commits an offense. Such person upon conviction shall be liable for the imprisonment up to 1 year and fine not exceeding ₹5 lakh, provided that any person or body cooperate who can prove that such fake news was created, published or disseminated believing it to be a true and after exercising due care to verify it shall not be liable under this provision. Further, if the allegation of dissemination of fake news is made against a news organization belonging to the government, a preliminary inquiry shall be carried out before the registration of the first information report, FIR. First of all, it is not clear what is meant by the word maliciously. This should be read along with the proviso which exempts those who creates or disseminates fake news, believing it to be true and after exercising due diligence. What is the extent of due care one has to exercise? Can someone be expected to fact check a text WhatsApp, forwarding text WhatsApp messages every time they receive and they want to forward it? What about people don't have the resources to fact check? Should they be now completely prevented from forwarding any messages?
The effect of this law will be that people will develop a pathological fear of forwarding messages even if it is accurate. As already mentioned, this will have a definite chilling effect on free speech in the country and violates the fundamental right to free speech and expression as guaranteed under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Moreover, the bill gives undue advantage to the government-owned news agencies. This is arbitrary and very unfair. How can government get blanket protection from its own law? Shouldn't government be a model for its citizens? I leave it to my fellow members to address any other issues with the clauses as well as the problems with other clauses. Thank you.
The Minister of Electronics and Information Technology will address the House.
ನನಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡಲು ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ನನ್ನ ರವಿವರ್ಮ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುವ ಮೊದಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ವಾಕ್ಚಾತುರ್ಯದ ಅಮೆರಿಕದ ಅನಿಯಂತ್ರಿತ ಹಕ್ಕಿನಿಂದ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೇಗಾದರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಸೂದೆಯನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಂತೆ ವಾಕ್ಚಾತುರ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಿರ್ಬಂಧಗಳು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಈ ಮಸೂದೆ ಸಾಂವಿಧಾನಿಕ ಮಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ರೆಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನಾನು ಶ್ರೀ ಅವರನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಸಲು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಉಚಿತ ರಿಕನ್ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಹಕ್ಕನ್ನು ನೀಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಮೆರಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪೊನ್ ಇದೆ. ಆದಾಗ್ಯೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂವಿಧಾನವು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಸುವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ, ಸಭ್ಯತೆ ಮತ್ತು ನೈತಿಕತೆಯ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಮಂಜಸವಾದ ನಗೆಯನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯಿಂದ ಅನುಸರಿಸಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಸಚಿವರ ಅರ್ಹತೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟಪಡಿಸಲು ಈ ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನು ಬಿಲ್ನ ಅರ್ಹತೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಿನ್ನಲು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಈ ಅಪರಾಧದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಳ್ಳುವ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ, ಪ್ರಕಟಣೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಸಾರವನ್ನು ಮಸೂದೆ ಅಪರಾಧೀಕರಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಜೈಲು ಸೆನ್ವರ್ಗೆ ಗರಿಷ್ಠ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳ ದಂಡ ವಿಧಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಪರಾಧ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಸಮಾಜ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ಅಂತಹ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಸ್ಥ, ಹಾಸ್ಯದ ಡೆಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಡಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ಗೆ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳವರೆಗೆ ದಂಡ ವಿಧಿಸಬಹುದು. ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಯಾವುದೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ 1 ವರ್ಷ ಜೈಲು ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ವಿಧಿಸಬಹುದು. ಅಪರಾಧಿಯು ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತಹ ಸಂಘಟನೆಯು ಜೈಲು ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಗೆ ಗುರಿಯಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯು ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅದು ನಿಜ ಎಂಬ ನಂಬಿಕೆಯಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ರೂಪುಗೊಳ್ಳುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೋರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಪರಾಧ. ಈ ಅಪವಾದವು ಮೂಲಭೂತ ತತ್ವಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಂತೆಯೇ ಪ್ರತಿ ಅಪರಾಧವು 2 ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರಬೇಕು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯು ಕೇವಲ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಮಾಡುವ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳ ತಯಾರಿಕೆ, ಪ್ರಕಟಣೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಸಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಸಂಸತ್ತಿನ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ದಯೆಯಿಂದ ಗಮನಿಸಿ. ಇದರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಈ ಮಸೂದೆ ಜೀವ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯದ ನಷ್ಟವನ್ನು ತಡೆಗಟ್ಟಲು ಮತ್ತು ವಿಶ್ವದ ಅತಿದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯುವ ಸಮಯದ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆಯಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂದು ನಾನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನಿಸಲು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Mrs. Ramannayan, what are you doing? Reading newspaper in the house? Don't know? This time is spent correctly. For the parliamentary business, consider this as a last warning.
I'm sorry, Speaker sir. I'll not repeat this again.
Deepika R. from the opposition will now speak.
ಈ ಮಸೂದೆಯ ಪರಿಷತ್ತು ಕೋರ್ಸ್ನ ಅಸ್ಪೃಶ್ಯತೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ರವಿಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಒಪ್ಪುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾನು 3 ಅನುಸೂಚಿಸಲು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ವಾಸ್ತವವಾಗಿ ಇದು ಏನು? ಕೆಲವು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡುವ ವಿಷಯವಾಗಿದೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಅಥವಾ ಸಹಾಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತನಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಷರತ್ತು 3 ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಅಪರಾಧ ರೂಟ್ ಆಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸುವುದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ 4 ಅಪರಾಧವಾಗಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ತಿಮಿಂಗ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯೇ ಇವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಉತ್ತರ ನೀಡುತ್ತೀರಾ? ಮಿತಿಯೇ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥಾಪನಾ ಬೌದ್ಧಿಕ ಬ್ಲಮ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಯುಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಮನಿಸಿ.
Now, Ganga, the independent candidate will speak.
ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಚರಿಸುವುದನ್ನು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಂಎಂಎ ಸೈಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಚರಿಸುವುದನ್ನು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸುವುದು ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಗಳು ಈ ಮಸೂದೆಯನ್ನು ಅಂಗೀಕರಿಸಿದೆ. ಅಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಬೆಳೆದಾಗಲೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಡಿನ ಸಹಾಯಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಷರತ್ತು 4ರ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರರಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂತಹ ಯಾವುದೇ ನಕಲಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಗಳನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ದೋಷವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಕಾಣಿಸಿಕೊಂಡರೆ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿನಾಯಿತಿ ನೀಡಲಾಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಗಮನಿಸಬೇಕು. ಮೂವಿ ಡ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಅಪರಾಧಿಗಳ ಸಮಯವು ತುಂಬ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂದು ಸೇರಿಸಲು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಭಾರತದಂತಹ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂತಹ ಭಾರೀ ದಂಡ ವಿಧಿಸುವುದು ಅಸಮಂಜಸವಾಗಿದೆ. ಸಂಚಾರ ದಂಡದಿಂದ ಸರ್ಕಾರವು ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಮಸೂದೆಯ ನಿಬಂಧನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸಲು ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಲು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ನೀಡಿರುವ ವಿಶಾಲ ಅಧಿಕಾರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆಯೂ ನನಗೆ ಕಾಳಜಿ ಇದೆ. ವಾಕ್ಚಾತುರ್ಯವನ್ನು ತಡೆಯಲು ಇದು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ಅಸ್ತವಾಗಬಹುದು. ನಿಜ ಹೇಳಬೇಕೆಂದರೆ ಈ ಮಸೂದೆಯ ವಿಷಯವು ತುಂಬ ಆತಂಕಕರವಾಗಿದೆ.
Ms. Ganga, your allotted time is over.
ಈ ಮನೆಯ ಸಮಯದ ಹೆಚ್ಚುವರಿ 1 ನಿಮಿಷವನ್ನು ನಾನು ವಿನಂತಿಸಬಹುದಾದರೆ? ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
I cannot allow it. I need to ensure that the allotted time is spent correctly. The Education Minister will now take the floor.
Speaker and my friends from the House, in my brief speech, I will talk about some of the novel measures proposed by the bill. It casts a duty upon everyone to remove fake news if they come to know or have reasons to believe that they are in possession of fake news. This is an important measure as it will create a responsible online media environment among our citizens. Another unique feature of the bill is that mandates all education institutions to come up with study materials on fake news and conduct outreach activities. The bill requires the involvement of Bharat Scouts and Guides, exemplary students volunteering service in equipping our future leaders to develop responsible online media behavior. It is imperative that we nurture our citizens from a young age. The ability to discern between fake news and actual news is an indispensable one. I truly hope that this bill, when put to vote, gets cleared easily. Thank you.
Shankar Rao, independent member, will now speak.
At first, I thank the Honorable Speaker for giving me a chance to speak in this discussion. I wish to thank all my fellow members for highlighting the merits and flaws in the bill. I am not sure whether a law is required for the fight fake news, but I do know that there are a number of measures which can be used to solve these issues. In the long term, the best solution to curb fake news is to ensure that our younger generation is well versed in spotting such news items. Given the younger generation grip our technology, this can be easily achieved if adequate training is given from young age. Our younger generation can then impart these lessons to the elders as well. One of the proposals in the bill to use the Bharat Scouts and Guides is an excellent idea. Given their strength in number and vision to create a better world, I am certain that they can conduct awareness campaigns across the nation for capacity building to spot fake news. I also wish to bring to your attention that we already have a number of online portals and offline courses which help detect fake news. If these resources are adequately tapped, we can soon weed out the problems faced with fake news. I hope these suggestions are taken into account before formulating an action plan against fake news. Thank you.
Mahadev M., independent member, will now speak.
Numerous strong arguments
have already been raised by my fellow members as to why the present bill will destroy freedom of speech in India. I am in full agreement with each of them. No liberal democracy in the world has a similar legislation. This itself is a strong indication of how this bill is against the fundamental values of our constitution. It is going to give police unbridled powers to wrongly arrest those who speak up against the government. Nevertheless, I do not have any doubt that if this bill gets passed, the judiciary will immediately strike it down as being unconstitutional. I wish to remind my fellow members about how the Supreme Court of India has a consistent track record in upholding free speech. Decisions like Ramesh Thapar versus State of Madras, Indian Express versus Union of India are all examples of this. Given this, this bill is going to be confined to the dustbin as soon as it is passed. This is proceeded with, it will nullify the hard-fought freedom of speech in India. Thus, I strongly request the government to reconsider the passing of the bill. Jai Hind.
I think we had a good discussion here. Now it is time for the House to take the final discussion regarding this bill. The question is that the Anti-Fake Bill News 2019, those in favor will say A, those against it will say no. The ayes have it, the bill is granted. The House is adjourned till the next jamboree. I request everyone to please stand up.
शीतला सस्य श्यामला मातरं वन्दे मातरं शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी पुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदल शोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुरभाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's go.
Right. Hip hip hooray for the parliament. Okay. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray. Thank you. Huh? Thank you, sir. When you are explaining, we are there. It is short and sweet, and it is clearly you have said. We all enjoyed. I hope we all enjoyed, and we learned something Constitution and something about everything that Indian Constitution. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also thank. Madam Kritika and your team, we have taken the pain